Today we will be solving multi-step equations with variables on both sides of the equals sign. So when we do this, we're using opposite operations to isolate the variables to one side. So on this problem, I'm moving the constants to the right-hand side. At the same time, I'm going to go ahead and move that variable, all the variables, to the left-hand side. So what I'm left here with, when I subtract the 4x from the 7x, is 3x. And notice there are no more variables on the right. And when I add the 5 to both sides, 5 to 10 makes 15. And now notice there's no more variables on the left. So I've isolated the variable. Now all I have to do is divide by 3, and I get my answer of x equals 5. Taking a look at our next one, same sort of thing. I'm going to subtract the 8 from both sides, and I'm going to subtract that 3c from both sides. And so when I do that, what I'm left with is just c equals, now here they're the same sign, so I end up having to add those two numbers. Negative 17 is what I get. Same sort of thing on this next one. I'm going to add the 2 to both sides, and I'm going to subtract that 4x from both sides. So when I do that, here I'm left with a negative 2x all equals 8. So I have one more step. All I have to do is divide by negative 2, and I've got my answer of x equals negative 4. Well, the next few problems are some word problems. Let's take a look at our first one here. So Ted charges $750 plus $15 per hour. Or Ed charges $500 plus $20 per hour. After how many hours will they charge the same? How much will they end up charging? So let's take a look at how we're going to end up doing this. And we'll start by writing out what it is Ted's charge is going to end up being. So let's say we had this. We have Ted's charge. And then we're also going to end up having Ed's charge. Remember, they are going to end up charging the same after a while. And so the reason why I wrote down Ted equals Ed is because those two charges will eventually be the same. So Ted's charge is $750. So this is like a constant charge. This is a starting point. And so that means that we are going to treat that as our constant. Just like negative 5 is a constant, 10 is a constant, the 750 is a constant. So he's going to charge that amount, plus it says, plus $15 per hour. So whenever you see the words per hour, that typically tells you that that is going to be our variable amount. But we don't know that until we look at the question. Well, the question says, after how many hours? So yes, that means that h is an unknown. So we're going to write down 15h. And so this is our variable amount, just like what we have as the problems up here where 7x and 4x were our variable amounts. So we bring down the equal sign, and now we have Ed. So Ed's charge is $500. So that's a constant. And then we have plus $20 per hour. So 20h. And so now we're ready to solve, just like we had before. And so what we're going to do is just opposite operations. This time I'm going to go ahead and bring the 500, the constants, to the left. That way I don't have to deal with negative numbers. I'll bring the variables to the right. And so I need to subtract and not add there. So subtract the 15h from both sides. And so what I'm left with, when I do that subtraction, is 250 equals 5h. So I just have one more step there, divide by 5, and that leaves me with my answer. 5 goes into 25 5 times, but I got to carry up that 0, so 50 hours they're going to be working for until they charge the same. So now they ask, how much will that charge be? So this is part of it. So 50 hours, and so now we want to know what the charge is going to end up being. So we're going to take that 50 hours, and we're going to substitute it into one of these two h's. It doesn't matter which one, whichever is easier, because they're both going to give you the same amount. So I'm going to choose to use this one because it's easier to multiply 20 than by 15. So 20 times by 50 plus the 500. So 2 times 5 makes 10. carry down those two zeros, plus 500 gives me $1,500. So $1,500 is the amount that they will charge after 50 hours. Well, the next problem is very similar, just different words. Justin weighs 150 pounds and gains 2 pounds each week. So this is our constant. This is our starting point. So it's Justin, we'll write down Justin is 150 pounds and he gains. Gains means add, so we're adding here. 2 pounds each week. Again, each week is kind of like per week. This typically tells us that we're dealing with our variable when you see the word each or per. But we want to go to the question to see if that's really what they're asking for. When will they weigh the same? Yes, when means like, and after how many weeks will they weigh the same? So yes, that is our variable amount. So we're going to write down 2W after how many weeks? We don't know. And they also say when they'll weigh the same. Same means equals. So we're going to set Justin's equal to the next person, Tyson. So Tyson here, let's write down what his amount is. His amount is, his starting point is 195 pounds. So that's where he's starting. And he loses. Loses means we're going to subtract. Subtract 1 pound per week. So it's going to be 1 pound each week. So now we can go ahead and solve just using some opposite operations here. So again, I'm going to try moving the terms so I don't have to deal with the negatives. So I'm going to subtract the 150 from the 195. And here I'm going to end up adding the 1W to both sides. And so now I go ahead and combine those W's. That gives me 3W equals, do the subtraction here, I end up with 45. So now I'm ready to do that last step of division. Divide by 3, and that gives me W equals 15. So after 15 weeks, they will end up weighing the same amount. But that's not the end of the problem. We still have one more step to go. We also need to find out, or one more question, and they're asking us how much will they weigh. Well, that's what we do. In the last problem, we had to substitute. We do the same thing here. So you're going to put that 15 in for either this W or this W. It doesn't matter. Either one is going to give you the same answer. So I'll choose Tyson's amount because it seems a little easier. I don't have to do any multiplying. It's just 195 minus 15. 15 times 1 just makes 15. Now I'm ready to subtract those two numbers, and that gives me 180 pounds. So after 15 weeks, that means they'll both weigh 180 pounds. So those are the types of problems you're going to see on tonight's homework. Good luck.